Eugene Segovia here with EZStudRack.com. Had a couple of emails come through. People asking me, do you have anything for storage containers? I guess they call these Connexes. I call them shipping containers. And they're great for storage. The problem is it's hard to find shelves for it. And if you buy shelves, they take up so much room. What happens to big shelves? I've always said big shelves, wide shelves always cause clutter. Why? Because you store something and then you store something in front of it. Over time, it just gets cluttered up. Well, with the EZStudRack storage system, focus on one row deep storage. You have plenty of room, doesn't take up a lot of space. And with the one row deep storage, you use an item, there's one spot you always put it back. You can stand back and you can see everything you have. Keep watching the video and you'll see how all this was created. Stop letting clutter stress you out. Hit that subscribe button and don't forget that little bell icon so you don't miss out on ways to get organized and stay organized. Eugene Segovia here with EZStudRack, and today we are going to go into a shipping container. A lot of people buy these, they store a bunch of stuff in it. Some people use them as little mini shops, some people use them as homes. This one in particular is out on my property, and get an email. Somebody says, how can I store or utilize EZStudRack on a shipping container? I like the fact that we can put everything on the wall. Can you give me some ideas? So I looked online just to see what's available out there, and I couldn't find very many things. So I came up with some ideas. And what I want to demonstrate today is what I think is an easy, quick way to put up EZStudRacks. Keep in mind, we're going to do this a little different than a home. Usually in a home, we use a level, make sure everything is level. But this particular shipping container, and I'm sure all the other ones aren't exactly all level, so we just have to take some measurements, draw a straight line, and then that's where we'll end up putting the studs up. This door opens out. This other door usually stays closed, so I want to put it on this wall. That way I only have to open one door, I come in, the light comes in, I can see everything, and then I get what I need and go do whatever I use, blah, 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 blah. I went ahead and bought 5 of these. Okay, we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. I got a piece of that painter's tape and I marked them because I didn't want to be drilling a hole in the wrong spot. So we're gonna do 5 sections, 22-inch shelves. The one thing I do recommend is let's keep this up off the floor. I'm gonna cut this 8-foot 2x4 to 80 inches. That's 80. That brings it up off the ground, I don't know, 10 inches, whatever it is off the ground. Now when you cut it, make sure you save that little piece because we will be using that little piece to hold this board up. Let's go. I'm looking a little rough today. So today is outdoors day, roughing it on the weekend. So I didn't shave today. It's a little cold too. Okay, so the first step is let's cut the wood. I'm gonna cut all 5 to 80 inches. Now I know what you're thinking, well, shouldn't you cut the first one and test it and all that? I did all this calculation ahead of time. We'll go ahead and cut every one of these at 80 inches, measure twice. Also, if you wanna see, I like this little tape measure here because it locks. All the colors are bright. You can go to my Amazon link down there in the description, and I'll have a link to all these items. Measure this one, 80 inches. Measure twice, 80 and 80. We'll save this piece of board. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna stack them. Since we know that our shipping container is not level, I'm just gonna kind of put them back to back to make sure they're all about the same length. They're all lined up to the edge. Lined up. I mean, they are all, I mean, God. Woo, I'm good. Next step is we're gonna use 6 packages of EZStudRacks. I always keep the text, in this case, to the right. So this is gonna be the bottom. I'm gonna line it up to the edge. Got my drill. And again, I'll leave a link to all these tools that I'm using. This brand is DeWalt. I like the 20 volt. I'm setting the torque value. I would say let's try 8. I kind of line everything up to the edge. The first one's always the critical one. I go in and I aim it towards the center of the hole and I screw it in. Yeah, so about an 8 is a good torque setting. I go all the way to the very end and do the last hole. I'll leave a link up here to the installation instructions. That video kind of points how I do this. Package comes with 4 screws per EZStudRack. So I always do the ends, and then I'll skip 2 and then do the next one. There we go. There's the first one. Oh, letters facing around. Make sure they face the right direction. You're probably wondering, well, what's the big deal? Well, if the letters are facing, one facing up and the other's facing down, when you put them together on a 2x4, your screws are going to interfere with each other. I got to be done by 2 o'clock. I got a massage lined up at 4:30 in the Woodlands, and then I got to go dancing. So we've completed one. This is the one that's going to go on the end. So I'm only putting EZStudRacks on one side. It took 6 EZStudRacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On to the next one. This is going to be one of the middle boards. So you got the 2 ends that are only going to have EZStudRacks on one side, and then the ones in the middle are going to have EZStudRacks on both sides. And I got to make sure that the texts are always going this way, because when I do that, then I know the screws are overlapping. All right, last one. That goes there. This is just more of a trial and error. There we go. So that'll work. Now, here comes the dilemma. My dilemma is I'm by myself. If I just had one other person with me, I would be drilling the other side and screwing it in. But since I don't, I thought ahead of time and I bought this guy. It's called a third hand. I got it on Amazon. I'll show the link down in the description. So this guy, got the little cap that goes on like this. Pops on there, it can move around. Oh, look at that. So we got 2 ends. These guys just pop in there like that. And I'm gonna use this guy right here just to test to make sure that it's gonna work. Yeah. Okay, here comes the next part. I got this little guy. It's called a self-sealing screw. So this is going to go on the outside coming in. I want to drill a hole where this screw goes in easily. That way when it bites the wood, it'll pull the wood up to tight, and this O-ring will seal on the outside so no rainwater gets in. So the first things first is I'm going to drill holes. What I plan on storing here, I figured 5 screws will be enough. You could put more if you want. I know it's 80 inches. I want to screw the first one probably say 6 inches from each end. 6 inches. Right here. Mark it. So 6 inches from the end. 6 inches from the end. And then I'm measuring. What is the distance between these two? 68. 68 divided by 2 is 34. 34. Right here. So that's halfway. That's 1, 2, 3 screws. So halfway between 34 inches. What's half of 34? 15 is 30. 17. Ding! 17 inches. I'll double check. 17. 17. 17. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing all the way across. When it comes to the drill and you're using a bit, it's got a little, looks like a drill bit. You set it there and it's maximum torque. All right, test fitting the screw, make sure it fits. Perfect. Number 9, 2 inches long, 13/64 bit. Next one. Whenever you make your mark, try to hit the center of this guy. So if you notice, this hole right here, if you were to take a tape measure, that's about 2, let's say right there is 3 inches wide. The hole is at 1 1/4 inches, so it's a ½ inch off. So when I put the 2x4 here in the center, that hole is going to be hitting the edge of the 2x4. This one's pretty close to being center. So I'm going to fix that before I drill. We got all the holes drilled. Next step, let's put the first board up. Imagine this, somebody standing here like this and then me going to the other side and just screwing it in. Well, I don't have the luxury of having that other person, so I'm just gonna kind of eyeball everything that it's straight. I'm gonna take this guy like this, go up like this, and go, oh, lordy, 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 lordy. Okay, so let's go over here. It's starting to rain a little bit, so I'm just gonna show a quick glimpse of what we're doing on this end. I can see the wood, I can see the 2x4. We straighten everything out on the other end, and all we're gonna do is screw this guy in. That's it, that's the first one, and then we'll continue on. You'll know when it's in because that gasket just goes. So here we go. That sucker's on there. I mean, that guy is stout. Now we're just gonna continue on. Next one, next one, next one. I'm gonna do something a little different. What I wanna do is I wanna make sure that each section is exactly the same distance so I can use one shelf over here to another shelf over here. We could do that by measuring and all that, but you know what? Screw all that. That's way too much trouble. I'm gonna drill the holes, and then I'm gonna cut a board to fit. One to go on the bottom, one to go on the top, and one to go in the middle. And I'm gonna use that as my guide before I screw in from the back. $20 and a half. So I think 20 and a half is gonna be our measurement to cut our first board. We've cut 3 boards, 20 and a half inches. 20 and a half. I think I'm gonna go 20 inches. Disregard everything else I said. The boards are 20 and a quarter. Okay, so I've got 3 boards, all the same length, and now we'll screw in on the other side. I'm just gonna keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then we'll just do this fast. Here's another tip. I use a board, I measured it, I cut it. Use the same board, because what happens is there's variances. When you do one, you cut it's not exactly the same, and as you keep using the board you just cut, it gets worse and worse and worse. So always use the same board. All right, Eugene Segovia, I'm back another day. We're gonna finish this wall up today. We've just been working at it a little bit at a time. I went ahead and bought a 1x10 by 10 foot long. So we'll cut those shelves. We got a couple of big items that we're gonna put on, and I wanna use those 1x10s. So here we go. Eugene Segovia here with EZStudRacks.com. I am back. I created this wall storage from the very bottom to the very top, and we got a wall shelf. I mean, it's just got everything. The stuff up high are items that we hardly use. What is the key to organization? If you look at my other videos, 1 row deep storage. Wow, bam! So you use an item, guess where you're gonna always put it back? In the same spot. All your shelves are easily adjustable. Some of the things I recommend, it's so simple to do, it takes no time. Just get your little Sharpie like this, kind of outline what belongs there, and boom, voila, somebody borrows it, they're always gonna put it back. You got 1x4s, 1x6s, we've even got 1x10s, so whatever you gotta store, this fits your needs. The ultimate storage system for a shipping container. Hold up. I'm excited to let you know I have a template for you. This outlines those little ribs that I talked about. Download it. It's just a little PDF. Click the link below, print it out to scale, and then try it out on your shipping container. So watch this video on how we can get each section to be the same size. Don't forget to subscribe down here, and any of the items I use, I'll have links down to Amazon where you can order from Amazon. That's all, folks. Bam! 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 Time for a cold drink.